Baseball is complicated. It's a sport that runs on deep tradition and core values. The love of the game has been passed through generations for 150 years. It's entrenched in history, making it possible for all ages to speak the same baseball language. While that's the beauty of baseball, it can sometimes feel stuck in the last century. It faces the battle of using technology to advance the game without interfering with the tradition of it. There have been many great pieces of tech that have improved the game, like better equipment, better training techniques, and better facilities. We've seen the development of advanced analytics like StatCast and sabermetrics, which improve the baseball experience for fans, players, and coaches alike. There is also tech that has damaged the game of baseball, and there might soon be tech that will take it way too far. If you like what you're seeing today, hit that subscribe button and never miss another video from Stark Raving Sports again. Let's get into it. Artificial intelligence might ruin baseball. In 2023, we've already seen AI in the game. It is combined with existing MLB tech to give new capabilities. Teams are using AI to evaluate player performance, predict injuries, scout new talent, and even make business decisions. Just a few weeks before the 2023 draft, Major League Baseball partnered with a biomechanical company called Uplift Labs. Using a series of cameras, their program records a player's movement to evaluate their skills. It also predicts their potential success and chances of future injury. Before we know it, this technology might replace traditional scouting. The Uplift Labs program is just the first MLB has begun using. The algorithms will theoretically create a flawless way to evaluate prospects. The problem with this, scouting is an art, not a science. For more than a century, scouts have evaluated both measurable and immeasurable aspects of a player. They not only look at their bat speed, but also how they treat their teammates. These AI programs might take it all away. While biomechanics have been a part of baseball for years now, artificial intelligence has not. What's the difference? Traditional biomechanical programs are used for current evaluation. Teams have facilities that are set up with cameras and sensors that sync with computer programs. The Chicago Cubs, for example, have what they call the Pitch Lab. Their facility allows them to observe and analyze pitchers and their pitches. They use the data to improve pitcher performance by identifying necessary changes or by optimizing specific skills. They are looking at the performance of a player right here and right now. This is where AI comes in. It uses similar metrics as the Cubs Pitch Lab, but it predicts the performance of a player. While we've seen this used in preparation for the MLB draft in 2023, it will become much more present soon, specifically in minor league baseball. AI will begin to predict what minor league players will do. This could impact whether a player is promoted to a higher level or maybe even cut from the organization. This again has always been something left to scouts and player development personnel. How soon could AI replace traditional scouting? It's hard to say. While there needs to always be a human element in evaluating players, teams will start to rely heavily on artificial intelligence to make their decisions. Scouts have worked up to build practices and values of looking at players for decades. They understand circumstance and emotion. They have baseball instincts, things that a computer cannot do. There are plenty of players in Major League Baseball right now that may not have passed the AI test. How about Chas McCormick? He was picked in the 21st round, which doesn't exist anymore, by the way, in the 2017 draft. He had little promise coming into the minor leagues for the Astros. McCormick defied the odds and had an impressive minor league career, eventually breaking into the Astros prospect rankings. Artificial intelligence might have told Houston that McCormick wasn't worth drafting. It may have told them to not move him up through the minors. The Astros player development staff saw potential in McCormick, and he's now a central part of their big league team. Of course, this is a what-if example of AI versus scouts, and maybe someday artificial intelligence will become better than anything a human scout could do, but it ruins the tradition of the game. It's a tradition for there to be a scrum of scouts sitting behind home plate at a College World Series, checking in on who they want to draft. We love baseball for the tradition of the game. Technology might just be ruining that. One of the most important weeks of the MLB season is Awards Week. Manager of the Year, Rookie of the Year, Cy Young, and MVP winners are announced for each league. These voters have watched and researched every candidate for the entire 162-game season. Like scouts, their evaluations reach far beyond the cold, hard statistical data for each player. They take into account the circumstance for players to determine their vote. They look beyond batting average and understand the clubhouse impact for a player or the clutchness of a player. Artificial intelligence may soon replace the voting committee. AI programs have been written to determine MVP winners. Johns Hopkins University students wrote a program that picked every MVP in each league since 2004. The program was only correct in their selection 50% of the time. This is because AI can only look at statistical data to evaluate players. Their program predicted 2023's American League MVP as Corey Seager. While the Texas Ranger had a phenomenal season, Shohei Ohtani received unanimous votes for MVP. The AI program clearly got it wrong. Maybe you're a fan of players being evaluated by only stats. You don't want anything else to be involved. Well, then AI voting would be for you. But, yet again, it would ruin the tradition of awards votings. It's clear AI is going to impact the players and coaches of the game. But how about fans? It's been right in front of our faces already. Apple TV's Friday Night Baseball. The broadcast is notorious for housing extremely simple graphics in a somewhat plain game presentation. However, if you've ever watched a game on Apple TV, you've probably noticed the text in the bottom right corner. On every pitch of the game, a probability is presented. It can be the probability for a player to get on base, record an RBI, strike out, or even hit a home run. The text changes pitch by pitch on the broadcast. How are these numbers determined and presented? Artificial intelligence. These are betting odds. Apple puts them on the screen to encourage viewers to bet pitch by pitch as they watch Friday Night Baseball. An AI program determines the likelihood of an event occurring. This likelihood is presented to fans and they can choose to bet on that pitch. They want it to be an enhancement for all viewers, even if they're not betting. But is it really enhancing anything? There are hundreds of outcomes that can occur on every single pitch of the game. Do fans need to see the probability of one event occurring? I don't know. And it's up to every individual fan to decide if they like Apple TV's addition to the game. For now, it's just a small line of text in the bottom of your screen during just 2 games a week. But AI and sports betting tech will continue to advance and will only become a bigger part of the game. It could become distracting and take away from the typical TV viewing experience. I have no way of predicting what artificial intelligence in the game will turn into, but it might just ruin baseball. It wouldn't be the first piece of tech that's had a huge impact on the game. Starting in the 1950s, teams had access to videos of their games from TV broadcasts. They were able, in small capacities, to rewatch tape games and use that video for scouting and other coaching habits. This developed over the next decades, giving teams more and better footage of games. Of course, today, stadiums can have 10 or more cameras and teams have an endless data system of game clips. It was this very technology that led to the Astros sign stealing scandal. MLB's investigation found that Houston was illegally using their camera system to steal signs through the 2017 regular and postseasons. They used a center field camera to look into what signs the opposing catcher was giving. Without the tech of camera systems, we never would have seen this cheating scandal. MLB has battled the bad use of tech across baseball for years. In 1961, the National League banned the use of a mechanical device to steal signs. In 2001, it became a rule across the entire MLB that teams cannot use electronic equipment to communicate with each other, especially for the purpose of stealing signs. The Astros are not alone in using tech for sign stealing. The Boston Red Sox were disciplined after a 2018 season for using an Apple Watch to relay signals. The Brewers suspected that the Dodgers used a camera to steal signs in the 2018 NLCS. Reporters said league sources believed the Diamondbacks, Indians, Rangers, Cubs, Blue Jays, Nationals, Brewers, and Yankees were teams who all used electronic sign stealing measures. The moral of the story here, technology was how each of these teams allegedly were stealing signs. Between cameras, replay rooms, buzzers, Apple Watches, and more, it all comes back to technology. These forms of tech ruin some of the authenticity of the game. They ruin the traditional ways of catchers and pitchers communicating pitches. It all comes back to the fine line between baseball tradition and advancement in technology. With artificial intelligence as their next endeavor, will it create more problems in baseball? Will it offer solutions to existing problems? Will it advance the fan experience? We don't know. But what I do know is that technology is changing baseball as we know it, and it will never be the same.